Most people don't fail because life is unfair. They fail because of what they silently repeat to themselves every morning. And the moment those words change, everything else begins to shift. This is the story of a man who had nothing until he changed just 3 words. His name was Rayan. At 27, life had already labeled him as behind. No stable job, no savings, no direction, just repetition and survival. He lived in a small rented room above a closed-down grocery store. Every morning he woke up before sunrise, not because he was disciplined, but because he couldn't afford comfort. His days were predictable. Wake up, struggle, work, odd jobs, sleep, repeat. But the worst part wasn't his situation, it was his mind. Because every morning before his feet even touched the ground, he would whisper the same sentence to himself without thinking, "Nothing changes for people like me." And the strange thing was, life kept proving him right. Opportunities passed him. People ignored him. Confidence slowly disappeared without noise. It didn't happen in one moment, it happened in repetition. Until one evening something unusual broke that pattern. He was sitting alone in a public park, exhausted after another failed job attempt. Across the bench, an old man was quietly observing him. After a long silence, the man finally spoke. "You look like someone arguing with his own future." Rayan laughed bitterly. "I don't have a future," he said. "I've already lost." The old man nodded slowly, as if he had heard that sentence many times before. Then he asked a simple question. "What do you say to yourself when you wake up?" Rayan hesitated. Then he answered honestly. "The truth," he said, "not the truth." That sentence stayed with him longer than expected. For the first time, Rayan didn't argue. He just listened. The old man leaned forward. "Your life is not built by what you want. It is built by what your mind hears from you every single morning." Rayan stayed silent. Then the man said something that changed everything. "If you change 3 words, your direction changes." Rayan frowned. 3 words? The man nodded. "Not what you do first, what you say first." And then he stood up and left. No explanation, no further advice, just those words. That night, Rayan couldn't sleep, not because of hope, because of discomfort. For the first time, he questioned something he never questioned before. What if his thoughts weren't facts? What if they were instructions? The next morning, something small changed. Instead of his usual sentence, he stopped. Silence. Then, carefully he said 3 new words, "I will try." It felt weak, uncertain, almost fake, but he said it anyway. The first days were strange. Nothing changed outside, but inside, something shifted. His actions became slightly more deliberate, his decisions less automatic, his mindset less defeated. He still struggled, but he stopped assuming failure before trying, and that alone created movement. He started applying for jobs again, not expecting rejection, but not assuming it either. He started learning basic digital skills from free videos, not because he believed in success, but because he stopped believing only in failure. Days turned into weeks. Something subtle happened. His confidence didn't explode. It grew quietly, through repetition, through small wins, through interrupted thinking. One afternoon, he got his first small freelance task. Simple data entry, low pay but real. For the first time, money came from effort that felt directed, not random. He stared at the payment message for a long time, not because it was large, but because it was proof that his new words were not empty. Months passed. Rayan was no longer the same person who woke up expecting nothing. He was still far from perfect, still learning, still building, but something had changed permanently. His mornings were different now. Instead of defeat, he said, "I will try." Then later, "I will learn." And eventually, "I will build." 3 words became evolution, because the mind doesn't follow motivation, it follows repetition, and repetition becomes identity. Years later, Rayan was working full-time in a stable digital role. Nothing magical, nothing dramatic, just consistent progress built from a changed beginning. But when asked what changed his life, he never mentioned luck. He never mentioned opportunity. He always said the same thing: I changed what I said to myself before the world spoke. Because that's where everything begins. Not in action, not in circumstances, but in the first words your mind accepts as truth every morning. If this story hit you, it's because you recognized your own voice in it. And maybe it's time to question what that voice has been saying for years. Comment these 3 words you will start saying tomorrow morning: I will try.